Hello, and welcome to this exclusive webinar on enabling business outcomes at the speed of innovation. I am Kanchi Shah, General Manager for Content and Strategy at Strategy, and it gives me immense pleasure welcoming you all here on behalf of Dell Technologies, AMD, and Strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, enterprise computing is essential to the success of many businesses. Pushing the limits of innovation with agility and performance, all with an eye on sustainability, is key when competing in today's environment. Organizations are expected to implement the latest technology to keep their businesses competitive, while safeguarding their data from hackers and critically discover ways to use less energy. All this needs to be done while looking at faster ways to automate routine updates, attract qualified help from a shrinking pool of talent. And of course, these challenges require a holistic set of solutions that include the latest hardware. With that, I'd like to draw your attentions to the screen, where I'd like to take you through a short presentation on the key application modernization trends and how they enable business outcomes at the field. Application modernization is no longer a nice-to-have initiative. It is a must-have initiative that enterprises need to embrace to thrive in a fast-moving environment. Application modernization is essential to make enterprises agile, responsive to dynamic market needs and future ready. Modernized applications are also more cost-effective to maintain and manage. They also provide better experience to customers through API-first and microservice architecture. In an agile world, enterprises cannot afford to use monolithic applications that are expensive and difficult to update. They also cannot afford downtime because one component faced loading issues or performance issues. And that's why most enterprises are moving towards modernizing their custom applications over coming years. What then are the imperatives of business transformation? Survival. And when I say survival, I mean in terms of organizations where it is an existential crisis. Traditional organizations like Nokia or Kodak, who couldn't survive on their old operating models and are no longer a part of the mainstay market. They were erstwhile market leaders in their own domains. And hence, survival in many ways is an imperative for business transformation. We talk about digital native models, and digital native models enable organizations to be a part of global markets and service customers across the world. And these can only be brought forward by the opportunities that digitization is creating for business. Customer experience. Just like delighting someone, people are expecting a hyper-personal experience when it comes to using products, services of organizations, and modernized applications help improve customer experience by enabling new services and processes with a more intuitive user interface. Employee productivity. If you see, modernized applications provide employees with fewer application incidents and an enhanced team utilization, as well as new features and functionalities to improve their productivity and give more to the organization. When you talk about improved revenue streams, upgrading systems for businesses allows them to provide new services and processes to customers that add value and in turn generate more revenue for the organization. And cost reduction, which is by reducing capital expenses, organizations can replace them with more manageable and scalable operating expenses, and hence the imperative of cost reduction that is a part of the business transformation process. How then can technology happen? What are the modernization spheres in terms of technology? Well, if we see, there is a heightened demand or a move to hybrid cloud. And if you see, one of the leading report states that about 77% of enterprises already use hybrid cloud. The demand for hybrid cloud that brings in the security of a private cloud, and the cost efficiency of a public cloud has increased. While organizations are already using hybrid cloud and this to manage their workloads, hybrid cloud provides the right level of security, control, and consistency in operations, and hence the move. We're also seeing an increased adoption of containers. According to Gartner, about 75% of enterprises plan to run containerized applications in production. This popularity can be attributed to the increase in hybrid and multi-cloud adoption in the environments and the value that containerization brings to it. Well, containers allow enterprises to deploy applications quickly across multiple cloud platforms, and this makes applications more portable, makes migration to cloud platforms easier, and gives developers more time to focus on innovations each time. And hand in hand goes the increased interest in Kubernetes. We're seeing about 70% of organizations are already using Kubernetes. The need for scalability, reliability, and security has been the driving force for growing interest in Kubernetes. This helps enterprises build better products and applications. We're also seeing a lot of organizations re-platforming, refactoring, repurchasing legacy platforms. And this with the power that is required to compute workloads across environments. An increased adoption of AI, ML, and data caching with high performance computing is going about 20% will increase over the next 2 years. High performance computing will be helpful in AI and ML as it requires high computational power and high data and speed up the machine learning that an organization requires. To enable all of this, organizations will require to aggressively work on their infrastructure strategies. How can partnering with an expert make application modernization reality? These are the different spheres that an expert partner can help enterprises with. Enterprises are looking at expert partners to modernize applications. It's important because there is no single right approach to migrating workloads or a single silver bullet towards a modernization strategy. A one-size-fits-all approach does not work. And an external partner has the experience and knowledge of modernization trends that can actually help organizations transform. It can help organizations transform in terms of infrastructure, in terms of UI, UX modernization, re-engineering, cloud enablement, workflow modernization, and an enhanced security. So through today's webinar, this is exactly what we're going to discuss. We're going to meet leaders and experts from both industry and the technology side and hear their modernization strategies. And with that, I have the pleasure of inviting on a fireside chat with me, where we're going to discuss imperatives of application infrastructure modernization. I'd like to welcome Mr. Manjunath Prasad, Vice President, ITS at TVS Mobility Private Limited, who's in conversation with me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together in a loud round of applause and welcome.
Thank you very much, Manjunath, for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite, Kanchi. It's good to be on the show here and to share my expertise and experience what we go through in our industry.
Thank you once again. And with that, I'm very quickly going to launch into our first question for you today, Manjunath. So I would like to know from you, with applications, workloads, and data spread across various on-premise, cloud, and edge environments, the interdependencies between all these environments have surged intensely for organizations. How do you address the evolving compute demands in these kind of environments?
Well, to that question, Kanchi, it's as you rightly said, it's an evolving structure. Now every industry is growing in their own aspect. They are trying to, whatever the forecast they had done for 3 years, 2 years, is getting gobbled up within a year now. Such is the surge and demand of IT today, because every industry would like to look at the digitalization, digital transformation in the respective organization. So in order to meet that demand, definitely the hybrid is the way forward, where you might have something on-prem Plus, you have to adopt cloud, be it the private cloud or the public cloud, based on the organization needs. Everybody have to adopt the cloud, or else you will not be able to sustain the growth demand. That's a kind of need. Maybe a few verticals and few industries, because of compliance and the GDPR and the local laws and all, they might have to retain the data within their premises. But still, they are also thinking twice today if they can put up some applications on the cloud so that they can grow. The main reason for asking to adopt cloud is that the speed of rollout happens very quickly. That's the need, because the business demands are such that they want it today. They want the solutions as of today. They're not bothered. Earlier, we used to plan that if I have to do a procurement 3 months, then application rollout 3 months. The business also had the time to wait for it. But with today's surge happening in the market, nobody's ready to wait for that. So everybody wants with the demand that I want it today as of now. So definitely to meet that kind of a demand, hybrid is the way forward to continue, to both
Hmm.
from the applications perspective as well as from the infrastructure perspective. When coming to the
Fantastic.
application, when
Hmm.
coming to the applications perspective, definitely we are going one step ahead. That most of the applications are going on a SaaS model where software as a service. So because they are not able to have time, the industries do not have the time to sit and develop an application, try it out, roll it out and all. So most of the things are slowly looking at the SaaS applications where we already have a ready platform so that we can make the best use of it and move forward. That's a way forward now.
I couldn't agree more with you. And in this hybrid environment, where you see that data is either, sitting at the core or in the cloud or on the edge, there is a certain amount of compute power that is required to process all this data, and especially where it is, right? So, how do you bring compute closer to where data is residing? And what are the kind of requirements that you see would organizations require in the future?
In that aspect, every industry is trying their own ways to trying to go, because that's the upcoming trend that is coming up now. All these days, the centralized computing was the previous technology core, but today the edge computing is becoming the core, because the data is getting generated so many points, so many areas. So it doesn't make sense to wait till we bring all the data to the central point, process it, and again distribute it back to the endpoint. Doesn't make sense. So that's where the people or the technologies are looking for the edge computing part. Like for example, in our vertical, we are looking at IoT as a major area in our automobile dealership and automobile vehicles. What we use, we are trying to do the adopt the edge computing concept there, where we try to analyze the data of the machines then and there at the edge itself and try to take some meaningful decisions, so that we did not wait for the data to reach back and then go back to the edge point to process it again. So edge computing definitely takes place now with the currently available technologies. It is growing that the edge computing getting more power earlier than compared. Earlier it was only used as a storage bucket, but now the intelligence is being built in those devices as well, where it can slightly process some of the data, at least the basic data that can be processed there, and the remaining huge chunk of data can be sent back to the centralized server. That's how it's happening.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant to know. And yes, the demands are evolving and we are seeing a lot of change in strategies also. So I would like to know from you about your strategies around infrastructure modernization and how do you marry that to matching performance, reliability, scalability, and of course, being cost effective.
Yeah, from that, as you rightly said, being cost effective, being the Indian companies and the Indian manufacturer organization and all, we first give priority to the cost part. It always comes as a default ongoing concept. So with that keeping in mind, what happened, what we have done is we have moved away from the in-house data center to meet the business demand and the driving growth of the organization. We have huge expansion plans for the next 3 to 5 years. Keeping that in mind, we had to definitely move out of the in-house data center concept. We have moved on to adopt cloud. First cloud is the concept that we have followed, and from there we have evolved that energy in that cloud concept for the last 2 years now. And now we are going to the next level of going to the a SaaS-based services, all are adapting as a service rather than just using it as an infrastructure. We are trying to use services so that we can use the ready-made services available rather than taking our time to build the solutions by ourselves. That is the second level that we have started. And the third thing now we are embarking, keeping the edge computing part, using the IoTs, using in the edge computing. But that's the journey we have started now. We are piloting, doing some pilot studies, and we have recently launched a product into the IoT segment in our organization, where we are trying to study the data of the vehicles, the health status of the vehicles, and try to give the real-time dashboard to the driver or to the owner of the vehicle about the engine or the vehicle performance. So that's the edge computing part we are trying. Now the future where we are going to do we are trying to bring in a lot of machine learning and the artificial intelligence concept so that we can make the meaningful use of the data collected. We have collected so much of data from various sources. Earlier we had a single source of data either from the client and the server, but
Yeah.
today the data sources have become so huge and the data storage has become so huge. So we are looking at some putting up the machine learning concept using the data lakes and all to make some meaningful stats of this data and try to use it for our organization potential, business opportunity growth, so revenue growth. That's where we are looking at. That's what we are embarking on.
That's fantastic. You've touched upon the deep learning and the data aspect of this, and workloads and AI specific workloads are getting very demand specific and require high performance server infrastructure. Uh, how do you see AI and analytics friendly infrastructure enabling AI driven data insights and analytics that could be built into every process for the organization?
See, well, the data that is coming up huge, it requires a huge backend infrastructure to store early, if not the compute engine, at least the initial part of the phase goes in collecting the data. There's a huge chunk of data storage required to get the data from different sources and try to keep it in a centralized place. And then comes a compute power to process the data which is available and try to get the meaningful output of the trade. So since we are into the cloud concept, we are also thinking at how we can put in some internal infrastructure as well to compute this because all the data is not a reliable data or the processable data, so
Yeah.
that to segregate the data and try to use the data whatever is usable and try to the remaining data can be kept on the in-house infrastructure, so that where it is dead or put it into archives, something like that. So there's a huge demand for the compute power and at the storage power, both at the edge point as well as at the back end.
Yeah. Fantastic. So when you are dealing with that kind of compute power to meet business objectives and demands of the organization, to enable the organization faster time to market, which ultimately implies improving operational efficiency and, like we touched upon, reducing costs. How do you ensure that everything happens with speed and simplicity while enhancing infrastructure's ability to enhance productivity?
See, simplicity being simplicity, if the simplicity is the answer, then cloud is the easiest answer. But it doesn't always work around because all the workloads might not fit the cloud model. So we have to do the planning and we have to do the necessary investigations to see what kind of workloads has to be put on what kind of infrastructure. So some all might not fit the bill. So all will not fit the cloud model. So we have to segregate the data and we have to segregate our projects which we want to do based on the data requirement, based on the process requirement. We have to put few workloads onto our internal colo infrastructure or data centers, whatever we have. Otherwise, the rest of the public consuming, the agility required, the business driven, the market customer facing experience driven can be faced at the outside, and so that to get a better, faster response and faster acknowledgement, that would be there. So we have to primarily segregate of what we want to do and where we want to host, and based on that we can take things forward.
Fantastic. That's very brilliantly articulated. My next question to you is that while we are segregating data to the side in different, aspects, and while we are handling the compute part of it, how do you see the security threats evolving towards all these points? And how do you address security while modernizing?
See, security has become the basic design of everything now, be it at the design level. Earlier, at least the implementation was only at the after implementation. Everybody used to think security after implementation, but with the kind of issues happening around across, the cyber threats that is happening and the risks happening across, security becomes a topic of discussion even at the board level, even at the CEO's level. Earlier, it was only the IT's job, but today it's not the case because the organization risk, the reputation risk that it has, if based on the cyber threat. So everybody is accountable for that. Keeping that in mind, so the cyber security, security has become a basic design thinking of every solution, be it a product, be it a IT solution, or be it IT product, IT support, everything. So security has become the norm, and it is going to be there, and it's going to grow. As per my view, it's going to grow double. With more and more digital transformations happening across the organization, there'll be more and more focus happening on security security points. That is one. Second thing, coming with the GDPR laws and the various laws getting framed on the security framework. So there will be much more stringent rules happening on each and every organization to protect the data of the industry as well as the personal data, whatever is generated by the end users. So security is the bottom line. It becomes a part of the design thinking. It becomes a part of the execution, and it becomes a part of the recycle also, life cycle environment. The security will be inbuilt along right from the birth to the death of the product.
Hmm.
That would be my views.
Fantastic. I would just very quickly, I have a view on the clock and I see that we're running out of time, but very quickly, as my parting question, I would like to touch upon specifically to the automobile industry in India. We're seeing that there are changes in the policy regarding implementations with respect to BS6, and a lot of upgrades are happening on the technology sphere to incorporate all the demands around BS6. How do you see the automobile industry evolving in the future? And what kind of technology demands will it place for the industry?
Well, in the automobile sector, it's not just the BS6 that is going to push us a lot. Even the EV segment, it's a new trend in the market. The EV segment is also pushing us back a lot. So it is pushing us to move to more and more agile methods of adopting digital transformation. If we do not adapt that, then we'll be washed out from the field. So definitely we have to gear up and we try to adopt that as much as possible and build those concepts as part of our design thinking, where whatever we build or whatever we try to support. So with that, keeping in mind the BS6 and the EV segment that is coming up, it's bringing a lot of changes into the automobile sector. And not only from the, we automobile was always the last one to adopt the technologies. They were the lean method of always working as per the process oriented manufacturing concepts, but now that is fastly changing. We have to adapt to the dynamic needs of the market today and the various regulations that are coming in, be it from the European market or being from the Indian market. We have to adapt those also. So bringing all into this, so definitely automobile manufacturing is going through a lot of churn these days, and we are readily geared up to meet up those demands. And if we are moving ahead, because one way it's good to technology is getting bent into all the aspects of manufacturing today. Earlier, technology is only meant for the reports or the dashboards or the execution reports of the or the SQL data processing or the backend data processing. But today, that's not the case. Major technology is involved into right from the sale of the product, building of the raw materials, planning of the raw materials, to the execution, building, and quality aspect. Everywhere technology is inbuilt into that. And with all this IoT segment getting to the floor of production level also, there's a lot of things that goes on, and everywhere security is also now in every aspect of data getting captured. Security is also being looked at that angle also. With a lot of these hopes happening on this around this infrastructure, I'm definitely manufacturing the gala time we are having with so much of technology changes we are going through. It's good to have, and I think we are the best generation to see so much of technology changes. We have seen the past as well as we are seeing the future. So we are in the right generation, I feel. I'm happy about it.
I couldn't agree more with that. Yes, thank you very much, Manjunath. This has been a brilliant conversation where I personally learned a lot from this entire piece that we've had. Thank you very much for sharing those insights and taking us through how technology is impacting the manufacturing sector and what kind of modernization can we see in this particular sector. Thank you very much once again for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Kanchi. Thanks for the time and sorry for the delays, but still it's worthwhile hearing from you as well. I look forward for more such sessions. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed this interesting conversation with Mr. Manjunath Prasad. He's taken us through an industry perspective on infrastructure modernization and what that can lend to tangible business outcomes. Well, with that, we'd like to move forward to our next session. And I have with me Mr. Arvind T.S., who is the Senior Systems Consultant for Dell Technologies. And he's going to take us through the new tech trends. Let's watch.
Hey, thanks, Kanchi. Um, hey guys. So as a futurist, I look far ahead, but I also look at the short term, which really gives business leaders and decision makers an understanding of things that need to focus on right now and right here. I want to talk a little bit about my perspective about various tech trends. So AI everywhere, right? It was not a trend to be talked about for many years, but in 2023 it will enter the mainstream. So we now have apps which have AI embedded in them. We have a no-code environment, which means anyone can design new AI applications without any knowledge of programming. We now have AI as a service, which means companies that store your data have the ability to simply switch on to new AI capabilities. And this will sort of augment all our jobs. This will change all the business processes. So some of the key trends which I personally follow are, probably like NLPs, natural language processing, machine vision, as well as generation of synthetic content. So say companies, one of the companies which actually sort of created Deep Tom Cruise, right? That went viral on one of the applications. So if you look at it, it all sounds too simple to be true. It is true in a way because there's a way to simplify AI by accessing data, building and training models, and turning valuable insights into action faster and more efficiently. And Dell validated designs for AI help organizations to do all those things by providing customers with complete AI solutions with hardware, software, and support services included. So each solution is tested and validated to excel at AI workloads such as MLOps, automated machine learning, and virtualized AI. Instead of focusing on architecture and setup required for AI, organizations can focus on AI innovations and deliver business values. So the Forrester TEI study recently found that Dell Technologies validated designs for AI provided incredible value for organizations across the board. The secret lies in a centralized AI environment, which users can manage and leverage the full spectrum of organization data in a simplified manner. I want to talk a little bit about intelligent and connected world. In 2023, we will see increasingly intelligent, connected world that uses technologies like IoT, so smart intelligent devices that are storing and transmitting the data. It is then enabled by other technologies like 5G or 6G that is coming along. So this will enable the smart world that create things like nanobots that could swim in our bloodstream, help us monitor our health, and we can have more intelligent smart cities. Energy grids that can, that we can monitor using digital twin tech and AI. So this will again increase smarter connected device, and the world will, we will probably reimagine many sectors like healthcare to city planning and manufacturing, right? I want to talk about programmable world in 2023. We probably, or going forward, we will see increasingly digitally editable world where we can change the real world by manipulating in the digital world. So for example, a digital twin that is a digital copy of a real world object. So let's take a car, for example, right? A race car, a Formula One car. We can design the car in the digital world, and we can even run it in through digital world through simulations and tests during using digital wind tunnels, and then can 3D print the components of the car. You know, more on sustainability, we're seeing the data centers that are much greener and much less energy hungry. We're seeing data centers that are even carbon negative and using not only sustainable energy, but also generating energies themselves. And all of this can be used to do good to our planet. Now, with all this innovation, the context which I created for around innovation, we believe that Dell PowerEdge service deliver technology solutions that help customers adapt, innovate, and grow. Dell servers are designed with customers' workload in mind. We start with the customer's workload and design servers from ground up to meet their unique requirement, which we call adaptive compute. We help customers to make steps towards full infra automation with autonomous compute infra, reducing their IT burdens. Our PowerEdge servers are designed with a security-first approach for secure interaction and the capability to anticipate potential threats. We call this proactive resilience, right? The traditional approach to service design has typically been a general purpose machine with plenty of upgrade and configuration options. So these are then tailored to fit customers' workload requirements with varying degrees of success. Now, new PowerEdge service are designed from the start with the customer's outcome in mind already, right? This means that we start with our customer's workload and design service from ground up to meet their unique requirement. This is on top of our award-winning mainstream PowerEdge server, which are designed for data centers, which we have introduced. We introduced servers that are specialized servers. Like PowerEdge servers, which are specialized for HPC with high core and node density per rack that enables HPC resource rendering, vectorized and advanced vectorized extensions. We have PowerEdge servers which are sort of scale optimized. Servers are feature optimized full performance enterprise servers designed for customers looking to scale out their compute environment without sort of over provisioning. They provide cost-effective transitions to latest technology available today, giving them additional choices to help optimize the profitability of the business. These servers are also edge optimized. PowerEdge servers, Dell PowerEdge servers, are designed to bring Tier 1 features to customers' edge and telco environments with full PowerEdge server feature and managed deployment and security. And they're built with a minimum footprint and full enterprise compute features to optimize expensive edge space and deliver targeted virtual experiences. So these new specialty servers are specifically engineered to deliver accelerated compute at a far edge. And they're also GPU optimized. So they are designed to bring some extreme accelerator support for the most demanding workload with maximum performance for the entire spectrum of HCI, HPC, AI, ML, and DL training and inferencing. Also database analytics and VDI workloads. So if I have to summarize, Dell AMD PowerEdge server address evolving compute demands with a platform engineered to optimize the latest technology advances across processor, memory, networking, storage, and acceleration. We also have, Dell AMD servers are going to be delivering AI ML infrastructure without compromise. For instance, the XE8545, which is a Dell AMD special service. We are constantly upgrading our Dell AMD servers with 4th gen AMD specific processors, NVLink, PCI Gen 5, and other innovations. We're providing ready architecture for HPC, vSAN ready nodes, and more solutions powered by PowerEdge with AMD EPYC processors. In this, Open Manage is the heart of this message, collecting the telemetry from all the systems involved, as well as integrating with the network and storage components to provide a holistic picture of the entire infrastructure. From an autonomous compute essentially is the intelligent systems that work together and independently enabling rapid digital transformation and productivity. So how do we do all this? We, as a business, and as your business sort of evolves, right, managing your infrastructure becomes more challenging to include disparate and siloed systems and data. So Dell Technologies sort of delivers service, server technology that discovers and enables other systems, makes recommendations, and communicate effectively based on your guidelines. So Dell Technologies does rapid platform enablement by quickly getting your system up and running with the automated service and OS deployments. You get a comprehensive review of the system data analytics and predictive analytic capabilities. Dell Tech Dell Technologies scales without disruptions by managing up to about 8,000 servers plus HCI and vendor systems. Now that I've spoken about adaptive compute and autonomous compute infrastructure, let's take a little bit of let's take a look about our last pillar, which is proactive resilience. We have defined proactive resilience as a system and software designed for secure interactions and the capabilities to anticipate potential threats. What do we mean by this? We have a built-in protection through a complete portfolio of solutions from silicon root of trust and supply chain all the way to the asset retirement. Let me, so here we are. I want to sort of bring in the latest AMD portfolio. So these AMD systems, Dell AMD systems are uniquely designed for HCI, HPC workloads. So because higher core counts, faster memory, faster IO, PCI Gen 5 equals better, bare metal performance for either genomic sequencing and research computing, right? So we have AMD systems which are uniquely designed for VDI workloads because unprecedented VM density delivers best user experience with single wide GPUs, which means more virtual desktop instances and a flexible remote worker experience, right? So AMD systems are sort of uniquely designed for acceleration, real-time data analytics workloads, because performance of PERC 12 along with the scale of dense NVMe equals more performance and capacity per node and higher OLTP within the Oracle as well as the SAP environment. So extreme performance that is flexible, air-cooled, and can be the backbone of your data center. So I might ask, Shilpesh, my friend, to deep dive into more around the AMD EPYC 4th generation processor. Essentially, if I have to summarize it, right, using AMD EPYC 4th gen processor, we essentially deliver up to 50% more core count per single socket platforms. It's available in innovative air-cooled chassis. It enables DDR5 at about 4800 mega transfer per second memory and PCI Gen 5 with double the speed of previous Gen 4 for faster access of data, faster transport of data, optimizing application output. It scales storage using up to 33% more E3.S NVMe drives and reduces global carbon footprints. We deliver more memory, right? More memory density with about DDR5 up to 6 TB RAM. And of course, all the Dell AMD platforms servers come along with advanced management and scripting support with integrated iDRAC 9 and Redfish APIs.
Thank you very much, Arvind, for taking us through that presentation. And I have a few questions for you with reference to the new tech trends that you have taken us through. What I'd like to know is that around the tech trends that you've taken us through, that would actually hold the potential to shape the future of business as organizations strive to become more digital. And companies at heart are quickly moving towards anything and anywhere by expanding their data ecosystem. What's your take on the data trends that actually hold the potential of fueling the digital?
Yeah, look, I think we've all come through this pandemic, and getting closer to your customers probably has been the barometer of companies that have been successful. And we definitely see data being one of the fuels of digital economy, right? But I think the way it's going to transcend is that it's going to be at the edge of the computing environment, where a lot of this data is going to be generated. And I'll use a very simple analogy of like a self-driving car, right? Effectively, if you think about it, a car like that, it will generate a tons of data just to be able to stay on the road and do what it's supposed to do, right? And then you need to obviously make sure that you're utilizing the data in a secure and a safe manner. And also, I believe that Gartner actually, believes that about 75% of enterprise data will be generated and processed outside of traditional data centers, as well as cloud cloud by about I think 2025. So we're not talking too far. So yes, I think the edge definitely will be the new boundary, and that's where I think business will find the greatest opportunity to create value for their own business and their customers. And then utilizing simple data management to drive the specific business needs, and effectively escalating it, that growth, and utilizing emerging technologies like machine learning or artificial intelligence to convert the data into a meaningful value. If I have to sort of quote some stats, probably edge computing, market is supposed to grow at about a CAGR of 21.6% from 2022 to 28. And then by 24, we should have 50% of data will be at the edge. So GMI also predicts about $15 billion in terms of edge computing hardware purchased by 2025. So more and more applications will require data processing in under 5 milliseconds. Future applications set to demand about a 1 millisecond processing.
I couldn't agree more. And while data processing is one of these pillars, you just touched upon the volume of data being generated and the rate at which data continues to grow. What could be a combination of the increasing value of data? And when you actually put it in context to all the combined benefits that one could gain, what do you see as some of the advantages and barriers that business?
Look, I think, the advantage of it's effectively mining it, storing all the data that you're cleaning and getting from your business. But the biggest thing is managing it properly. And I think, for many years, different industries have collected data. The key now is what do you do with it, right? The data, and then, the key is to obviously utilize new technologies to drive those insights. So we're just seeing a sheer volume of data being collected. So you need to have a different data strategy, and in getting those insights, and it's using technologies like ML and AI to get the right strategies in place and use the data to give you the benefit moving forward. So essentially, if I have to summarize it, organizations will have to learn or manage data at scale, curate, protect, and govern data wherever it exists. They will need to sort of leverage the right data faster by enabling effective data access, scale, and control in a cloud operating model, right? Decide what they want to do with their data, meaning activate their data and drive better outcomes at any scale. They need to sort of create measurable values by optimizing analytics and AI at any scale.
Absolutely. And while organizations are on their journey to curate, protect, and store, the one fundamental pillar, which you pointed out, protect, storage and data usage faces its own set of challenges. And there's been an exponential increase in cybercrime for the past 2 years. Could you highlight some of the security trends for 2023 that companies actually need to adopt to be safer against vulnerability?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. As we opened up businesses to be more agile, more digitally transformed, we've obviously opened up holes for criminals to exploit, right? So there's been a deluge, especially specifically over the last year, in many of companies being hit with ransomware attacks. And you're seeing this phenomena across the globe. And again, as cyber criminals are definitely at the cutting edge, it does leave companies very vulnerable, as well as the data that they're collating. So cyber attacks continue to rise and evolve. Nation states going after critical infrastructure with sophisticated attacks. So the increasing sophistication depicts about I remember about 85% of the breaches did not use malware. They use credential attacks, social engineering, and phishing, and cyber warfare, even ransomware as a service, right? So I've also heard, according to some of the companies like CrowdStrike, 68% of companies encountered another sophisticated intrusion attempt within 12 months. So you will see the industry moving very much to an automated type of industry where all your processes, the way that you try and pick up that is automated, and data protection measures effectively are done through, say, machine learning, automated recovery for business continuity, right? Um, s- uh, Even the detection and prevention is automated, where machines are effectively pre-anticipating what cyber criminals will be doing. And it's just really because we've seen a deluge of attacks globally. So it's becoming very sort of difficult for IT organizations and organizations in general to do this in a manual basis, right? So again, technology will take over managing the security platforms or platforms for for various organizations by sort of simplifying compliance and governance via centralized software-defined data protection, and also gain sort of global oversight of application backups, and making sure that you're covering all the holes that are potentially in your business.
Thank you very much, Arvind, for taking us through that. I mean, that's pretty much what we have time for, because I do have a view on the clock. And with that, we'd like to call it a wrap. Thank you for taking us through all those lovely insights that we've been able to uncover through your presentation and, of course, conversation that we've just had. And with that, we're going to move forward into our next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me Mr. Silpesh Shah, who is the Senior Solutions Architect for AMD India. And we're going to be in a conversation where we discuss how the different data center infrastructure needs are acting as an enabler for organizations to become digital. On that note, Silpesh, my first question to you in this conversation is, how do you see making timely investments towards modern data center infrastructure, and this becoming an enabler for organizations to lead intelligently, become digitally determined, and have the right kind of compute power that modern applications have?
Yeah, so thanks for that question, Kanchi. As you know, infrastructure is needed to run applications, and applications are needed to run the business, right? So faster applications means the business will also run faster, and business will be able to serve more customers, leading to more profits. So any modern application definitely requires a modern infrastructure, which should be able to not only cater to the application performance requirements, but at the same time, it should also be able to provide security, scalability, reliability, agility, compatibility, power efficiency, and provide overall TCO and ROI benefits, so that organizations are able to utilize the infrastructure in the most optimum way to derive better business outcomes, and at the same time reducing the operational costs. Now, modern infrastructure requires modern platform, which has the capability to deliver all of this. And AMD EPYC processors packed with industry-leading innovation are specifically designed to provide all these benefits. I would like to mention some of these innovations, like AMD EPYC is the world's highest performing x86 CPU in the world today. It has chiplet-based modular architecture, which provides scalability up to 96 cores per socket. There is 5 mm lithographic node process for the industry-leading power efficiency and performance per watt related benefits. And then there is faster DDR5 memory and CXL 1.1 support. We have 50% higher memory bandwidth and next generation Infinity Fabric, PCI Generation 5, and higher amount of L3 cache. All these provide lower application latency and higher throughput, which is required by the modern applications. We have built-in Infinity Guard security features for the next level of data security to help protect against modern cyber attack threats. And next generation Zen architecture And all this put together, it provides almost double the performance benefits per socket compared to our previous generation, and almost 3 times the performance per socket when we are comparing against our competition.
Thank you, Silpesh. So in your articulation, you've actually covered everything that an organization could probably be looking for, whether it's reliability, scalability, sustainability, and addressing all those issues in a secure fashion.
Yeah.
When we talk about all the features that you've just taken us through and everything that is getting addressed as a potential pain point that organizations would probably have, important you think to create an information-powered data management architecture, especially in the view of organizations attempting to drive hyper-innovation-led competence?
Yeah. So, hyper competitiveness is comes from how innovative you are. And today's technology in terms of AI, ML, DL is actually helping customers to bring in that hyper competitiveness. So deep learning techniques, which have enabled greater success in many fields like computer vision, neural language processing, gaming, autonomous driving, etc. While building these components, the choice and design is very, very important, and it has to be tuned for the respective AI, ML, DL use cases, which can have a big impact on the speed, accuracy, and business value of deploying these solutions. So AMD has a vast portfolio of CPUs, GPUs, as well as respective software library like AMD ROCm, which is built for flexibility and performance for HPC and AI related workloads. This can give you, compilers, libraries, and tools designed to accelerate the code development uh, for these kind of use cases, which the customer would like to deploy. And ROCm is also open software platform, and it allows customers to tap the power of AMD Instinct GPUs and accelerators to derive scientific discoveries. And it is built on the foundation of open portability and supporting environments of not only AMD but across multiple accelerator vendors and architectures. So with this complete solution put together, customers can get more and better benefits with the AMD platform and its related software.
So you've taken us through how innovation can lead to hyper competitiveness and what power an AMD processor can, AMD server packs. Can you tell us a little more about the Dell PowerEdge servers with the 4th generation AMD EPYC processors? And how do they create more value for organizations to be able to deliver business outcomes while ensuring efficiency and sustainability?
Right. So Dell PowerEdge servers built with AMD EPYC processors provides the highest application performance to date. And these new systems are designed to help customers more effectively power today's demanding workloads, such as data analytics, AI, ML, DL, virtualization, high performance computing, etc. And these servers are also designed to fully take the advantage of AMD EPYC processors from performance perspective, from a power efficiency perspective, and from security perspective. So this helps customers get the highest performance, reduce CO2 emissions, and thereby attain their sustainability goals from that perspective. And the platform also helps reduce the cyber attacks by deploying the cyber resiliency architecture, which is provided inbuilt into the AMD platform. All these things are put together, integrated together, so that not only the AMD platform but the Dell platform, both are put together, provide a complete secure and performant platform for deploying these modern workloads. and you get the highest performance at the lowest power consumption. These are the benefits that customers get.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more on all those benefits that customers stand to gain from everything that this powerful processor packs. We've also seen that threats and the cost of a data breach and reeling from the after effects of a ransomware can be devastating.
Yeah.
How do you get security right while modernizing, especially with built-in cybersecurity that can protect customers' sensitive?
Right, Kanchi. So, AMD has kept security as one of the foremost design parameter when we are deploying or when we are designing any product. Security is the first one which needs to be considered. How we can make everything more secure. Because if the platform is secure, everything built on top of that is secure. Okay, so it's entire chain. So we have a very, very modern approach from security perspective. We have deployed multi-layered kind of security architecture, which helps highly resilient infrastructure platform to be built to resist against the complex attacks, right from bias manipulation to in-memory, threats and data breaches and those kind of things. As well as we are not stopping at that, how we can take it forward when systems are virtualized, how we can make hypervisor related attacks also more secure. And all these things put together, we have a feature called as AMD Infinity Guard, which complements the entire ecosystem from security and platform perspective. Now, with that foundation, we have built-in root of trust on our CPUs with embedded security checkpoint, and it is designed to validate the initial BIOS software boot without any corruption. Also, the hardware-based encryption, we can achieve full memory encryption in a bare metal deployment, and with for virtualized workloads, we have full memory encryption for every virtual machine that is deployed. So this is the basics of building the confidential computing platform, which will ensure that even in the virtualized environment, data is encrypted and there is no data breach from that perspective. So how these all come together is that customers encrypt the data when it is data is stored on the hard drives. So it is data is secure from that perspective. When the data uh, is on the network, that time also it is encrypted and it is secure. But when the data is actually in use or it is getting processed, that is when the data is sitting in the server's memory, it is completely in plain text format, and any attack from that perspective will have a devastating effects. So what AMD does is we actually target that. We encrypt the system's memory so that the data in use is also encrypted, and there is no possibility of attack or any sort of those kind of things. So these are the latest technologies which are available, and with our latest generation CPUs, we support more than 1,000 VMs or containers per physical server, which really helps customer utilize these benefits. And the best part of is that all these things are enabled without any application or code level changes to be done by the customer or any of the ISVs, because it is completely transparent from a OS perspective as well as from application perspective, and customers can utilize this without any limitations, like there is no limit in terms of how much memory you can encrypt. Whatever amount of memory that is installed in the server, whole memory can be encrypted with these techniques. And one more benefit is that we provide all these features across our portfolio of CPUs. So we do not have any classification, that lower core counts do not support this feature and higher core counts support this feature. Nothing like that. We have all the features right from security, scalability, etc. We have all the features for all our product offerings. So from that perspective, it is very seamless for the customer just to pick and choose the right amount of compute power that is required, and they get all the relevant security features along with that.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Shilpesh, I do have a view on the time, and we have very little of it left for this conversation. So my final question to you for this discussion is, from an infrastructure modernization standpoint, companies need to look at their networks, storage, and compute. They can actually help with the kind of power that workloads demand.
Yeah.
How do Dell and AMD play partners in progress for organizations in enabling them harness the power from core to edge easily?
Right. So we have a very strong roadmap, and we have been, delivering on our roadmap very consistently. And from core to the edge to the cloud, we have, different products designed for different functionalities, which help deliver the required performance in a much better, optimum way and power efficient way. So for the edge computing, we have in roadmap our next generation CPUs, which are specifically designed for edge kind of deployments, which provide very high performance at a lower power consumption. From the data center perspective and cloud perspective, we have our EPYC processors, which provide a very high performance at the industry leading performance per watt perspective. And we have more than 300 plus world records for our EPYC processors. So irrespective of applications that customer would like to deploy, we have world records in most of them, as well as the various kind of deployments, whether it is on premise or in cloud or in a hyper converged infrastructure way, or in a virtualized way, or on containers or on bare metal. We have world records on everything. So basically our platform is tuned for not only certain workloads, but all the different kind of workloads that enterprises would like to deploy. And they can deploy it very, very confidently, because after all, it is x86 architecture, and all those x86 applications are certified on AMD platform. So from that perspective, they get all these benefits, compatibility, etc. They get the highest performance, they get lowest power consumption, and they get best scalability and best performance per socket, as well as performance per core. And all this translates into a lot of TCO savings for the customers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shilpesh, for taking us through that brilliant conversation that we've just witnessed. Thank you for taking us through how organizations can integrate infrastructure and modernize their data centers and cloud to deliver tangible business outcomes. Thank you very much, everybody. And with that, we'd like to call this a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kanchi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Shilpesh, for taking us through that brilliant conversation. Thank you for touching upon how organizations can integrate their infrastructure with data centers and cloud to deliver tangible business outcomes. It's been a brilliant conversation. Thank you for being here. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap. I hope you've enjoyed your time at this exclusive webinar on enabling business outcomes at the speed of innovation. We just request a few more moments of your time to fill in the feedback form. Your feedback is invaluable, as it helps us improve the content, structure, and delivery of our conferences. I thank you on behalf of Dell Technologies, AMD, and Strategy for joining us and spending your valuable time. We look forward to welcoming you at our forthcoming conferences. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and do enjoy the rest of your day.